Alright, as you can see, I have been using the simulator more. I found this little obstacle course that I've been using on one of the sceneries here on Aerofly. It was kind of off to the side, sort of hidden, but it's a cool little practice course. I have to say it's definitely helped me that I have not flown an RC plane in a while. It would be a lot harder to break the muscle memory from flying planes and have to relearn everything, as the controls on the Mavic are like way different from plane flying. Actually, I'm a bit worried because I have a couple of new ideas for airplane videos, but I've only been flying the drone lately. So I'm probably going to have to practice on the simulator for a while to get the hang of flying planes again before I start filming. Anyways, I have a couple of drone missions planned out right now to show you, but I just wanted to give you a couple of updates first. First of all, I have found a couple of different apps on Google Play that are supposed to expand the functionality of the Mavic Mini. Of course, I have been using the DJI Fly app to pilot the drone right now, but it's a very limited functionality. It has no VR, no follow, no programmability, and only like 2 or 3 preset shots. And as you saw in my last video, I could not get those to work. So basically, I can just fly manually and record shots. So one of the new apps I found is called Maven, which is for iPhone, and Maven Lite is the version for Android. Since I rock an Android phone, I am limited to Maven Lite, which I'm pretty sure was just made as an afterthought in response to public demand, as it like has half the functionality of the regular Maven version. It has VR and some programmability and a few preset shots, but like I said, limited, very limited compared to the Apple version. It is free to download, so I did download it to try it out. The only thing it allows you to do is to try some quick shots out, but you can't record anything. And I couldn't even get the quick shots to work either. So the second app is called Litchi. This one is compatible with Android, and there's actually a lot of content regarding it on YouTube. It's supposed to be very good. It's like $27 on Google Play, but I have to use a gift card to pay for it. And every time I go someplace that have gift cards, I forget to pick one up. So in any case, as soon as I pick one up and I try it out, I will let you know what happens. But in the meantime, here's the second update. Okay, so I actually made myself a little helipad out of an old wine barrel lid. So I nailed on some little braces to keep it all together and kind of keep it level, hold it all in place. You see, I just basically screwed them in, and then I painted on the H and the circle, and I hit it with a couple of coats of lacquer just to seal everything in, and I'm about to try it out. Let's see what happens. So by the time everything dried off, it was late at night already, and I was impatient to wait till the next day to try it out. So I had to take a quick session and quick flight right in the room real quick just to try it out. Yay, it works. All right, in this shot, I am trying to recreate the quote-unquote trick shot that I attempted in the previous video. It did not go quite as planned. My plan was to have the drone float in front of the window as my mom took a picture from it from the inside of the house, but we couldn't find her phone at the time, so I said, oh, you know what, I'm just going to do it real quick without it. So I wanted to try to do that again just to see what it looked like. So I set it up and I ran inside the house, and this is the picture that I took from the inside. And so now this shot right here is a little interesting because I just wanted to get a shot of the surrounding areas. I realized all the shots I had previously were just with the sentry plant in front of the drone, and so it was hard to just see a nice clear shot. So I sent it up as high as I was comfortable, and I started to pan around to take a shot of the area. But you'll notice that it is raining in half of the town. This whole half right here is all raining. You can see it raining in front of the camera, but as soon as I get to about here, there's no more rain, and then you can see up in the sky the clouds end and it turns to blue sky. So it's weird. It's like the rain front just came up to the edge of our house and stopped right there where I put the drone in the sky. But then once I realized it was raining, I kind of like, well, oh no, I'm sure the Mavic Mini is not waterproof. So I brought it back down really quick. So these next couple clips are actually pretty crazy for a couple different reasons. So first of all, I was trying to practice flying around in tight spaces. So I figured I'd try to fly through the carport a couple times. And yep, as you saw there, my first pass, I bumped off the roof. I actually just bumped off the roof like you saw. It kept going. I was pretty stoked on that, amazed actually. I thought for sure there was a broken propeller, camera broken, something was broken. Nope, it was all good. Just kept flying, and so I turned it around and lowered it a little bit and tried for my next pass, which yep, I went through fine, but yep, I didn't slow down fast enough and it ended up in the palm tree. I was so bummed right here. I thought for sure it was broken. So I pulled it out of the palm tree and set it back down on the driveway and hit the takeoff button. And lo and behold, it took off. No repairs, no recalibrations, no restart, no nothing. Obviously the camera's working. I'm controlling it, so everything turned out fine. Here you can see I'm pulling a little piece of spider web off it, but I am actually breathing a huge sigh of relief at this point that it's still working. So yeah, it is pretty crazy. It took quite a beating and is still running pretty good. So here I'm going to take a couple more runs through the tunnel just to make sure that it is still working. But yeah, that was crazy. So the other crazy thing is that it took this beating and kept going, but 2 days later I had it inside of the room and it was set on a little table that's no more than 2 feet high off the ground, and it accidentally fell on the floor. As soon as I picked it up, I turned it on, and this is what I saw. It gave me all these little errors right here. Gimbal unable to connect, barometer initialization failed, IMU calibration required, GNSS signal weak, no GNSS signal. So yeah, I was pretty bummed out and sad at this point. I thought I completely broke it, so I figured maybe I'll just try to start ticking off the calibrations one at a time, and hopefully, you know, I could take them out one at a time and everything will be fine. So I tried with the IMU first, but every time I pressed start, it did nothing. It just sat there the whole time. It would not start the calibration. That really bummed me out. So I started looking around again on the other menus to see what else I could do. The compass says it was normal, but I figured, well, maybe let me try to recalibrate it. Maybe that'll help the IMU. I don't know. So I did start a compass calibration, but it seemed like every time I actually tried to calibrate the compass, that it just wouldn't calibrate. It would just say compass failed, compass calibration failed. So the last thing I tried was to recenter the gimbal. Since the error message I got was incompatible gimbal data, I figured let me try to recalibrate it. So I did try to recalibrate it, but you can see here the gimbal's is kind of curling over and like tucking under and like geeking out sort of. So, and the percentage never went up. I let it sit here for several minutes and it just stayed there, and I kept getting that to remote control signal dropping message as well. So I was worried at this point, so I figured I did everything I can. So my last resort was to before I sent it off to DJI, was to try to get online and see if anybody else knew what was going on, what these errors meant, and if there was any way to fix them. So I started researching it online, and fortunately for me, there was a lot of information about it online. People in the beginning were saying that I was finding were saying, yeah, it's a technical gimbal issue. You need to send it back to DJI and have them repair it and send it back to you, which really worried me because I know it's going to be expensive and it's an old model. And so, yeah, I just kept researching though, and I started to run into this other little technical do-it-yourself fix that people were talking about.
I wasn't sure, so I just kept researching it, and more people were saying, yes, this works, yes, this works. So I'm not really technical with drones and DJI or anything like that, but there was a lot of step-by-step instructions online, so I figured, what the heck, let me try it out. So I got all my tools together and I gave it a try. Let me explain it to you. The first step is you get all your tools together, get everything ready, make sure you're prepared. The second step is you take the drone in your hand, hold it firmly, and the third step is you take your other hand and strike it on the top of the drone with your flat hand. Yes, I'm not kidding. That was the fix. At first I'm like, what? No way, that's crazy. But more and more people were saying, yes, this works, yes, this works, that's all it needs. It just needs like a little jolt and you're fine, blah blah blah. So I figured, what the heck, what do I got to lose? So everyone, you didn't have to strike it that hard, you just have to give it a little jolt. So I did it. I took it in my hand and gave it a nice little slap, and I rebooted everything, and lo and behold, it worked. It was giving me all ready to fly signs, so that blew my mind. So but I'm just stoked that it works, so I'm going to take it out tomorrow or the day after in the morning and give it a test flight and see how it goes.
All right, this is a few days later. The next day was too windy to fly, and then the day after that, actually I was just too lazy to get out of the house, and then this is the third day after that. So this is my first mission out of the backyard away from the house, so I'm kind of stoked. I'm trying to fly the drone. I've always wanted to do a river run, so I figured what better time to test out the drone and try out a river run. So this is one of two rivers that sandwich the town that I live in. There's one to the east and one to the west. They both run from the south to the north. This is the river to the east. It's actually the main river. The river to the west actually starts just south of town up in the mountains. It comes down into the valley and then runs along the west side of town, and then connects to this river like maybe 10 miles up the road. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and let you enjoy the rest of the scenery. Alright, so right here is where I started losing signal. It kind of started cutting in and out. It would tell me it's okay, and then no signal, then okay, then no signal. So I panicked a little bit. I wasn't sure what to do, so I just tried to hit the return to home button. But then once I hit the return to home button, I wasn't sure if it was working or not. So I was kind of freaking out a little bit, looking at the screen, trying to figure out what was going on. Eventually, though, I did realize that I just needed to press the button once and let it go, and so I got it heading in the right direction. So unfortunately, it cut my river run a little short, but for my first trip, I guess it was pretty cool. Next time I come out here, I will probably park right here on this little sandy bare spot on the far side of the bank. There's no bushes around, and it's close to the riverbed, so I'm sure I'll get a lot better signal and be able to go farther. You can see as we're approaching my home spot already, there was this big tall tree in the way, and where I was standing, there's kind of a little low area next to the road and bushes around it too, so I'm sure all that contributed to me getting bad signals. So now I know better. So having said that, thanks everybody for watching drone video number 2. I do have plans to film the river to the west, and there's a bridge there that I grew up around, and I want to take some shots of that. So stay tuned, and thanks for watching.